Hey everyone, welcome to Move the Finish Line. I'm your host, April Nowlin, and if you're looking for a podcast that's authentic, unfiltered, that may make you laugh and might make you cry, you're in the right place. Get ready for an exciting ride with me and my guests as we share stories of resilience, restoration, and winning at life from everyday women. My goal is to encourage you to break through the barriers that are stopping you from chasing your purpose. All right, let's get ready to move the finish line. Welcome, Lisa, to Move the Finish Line podcast. I am so excited to have you here today.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me, April. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. So I met Lisa through a webinar that I was giving not too long ago, and we connected on Facebook, and I found out that she and I share the same foundational church. So I was like, oh, look at that,
Yes.
small world.
Yes.
But in hearing part of her story on the webinar, I was like, you know what? I've got to share this story with my audience. So Lisa, before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a mother of one, but a godmother of two. And I have two beautiful goddaughters and their husbands and their babies. So they call me G-Ma. Okay, my little god grandbabies. But I have an awesome son. He is amazing. And I should say his father is no longer living. As a matter of fact, tomorrow will be the 6th anniversary of his passing. But we were, just still very good friends, even after our divorce. So that's a message. I always say that because that is a message right there for people who have gone through, divorce and maybe not still, connected with their children's father. We were very good friends, and he was buried on my birthday, April 12th, which is coming up. Yeah. So I'm a mother, and I still work. So I have a full-time career with the federal government that I absolutely love doing. I love leading teams and being the caring leader, but I also have my own business that I started, and it's Eye Care Leadership. I cultivate those authentic relationships to empower. And what I am doing is going to the limits, I'm telling you, of transforming and humanizing the employee experience, head, hand, and heart. So my passion is to those new leaders that are starting out, that really want to hone in on those soft skills, which are very essential, very, very important, that I get to them and mentor them in that. I'm also a John Maxwell coach, trainer, and speaker, and a best-selling author. Courageous Women Finding Strength Through Their Storm. And boy, don't we have storms. I also have another book, and it's called Wow, Women Overcoming Through Writing. So these are two anthologies that I'm very proud of. So that's me in a nutshell.
Wow. And y'all, let me tell you, if you could see her, y'all, this woman has a smile that you need shades for. Like every time she talks, every time I see her online, just her smile blows me away. Lisa, you're doing some really exciting things. I love the fact that you're working with leaders. I think people think that when you become a leader, you're supposed to just know how to do it well. And that's not the case. And so I love the fact that you are the caring leader, which says a lot. So welcome to the show again, Lisa.
Thank you.
Now, when I met Lisa, what stood out to me is she mentioned this weight loss journey that she had been on. And, our weight ladies, oh my goodness, right? I'll be 44.
Oh, awesome.
At the time of the release of this podcast. And let me tell you, someone told me your weight, it's different after 40. And I was like, no, let me tell you, it's different after 40. Okay.
It's different after 40 for real.
And so when I heard Lisa's story, I thought, you know what? She encouraged me. And so I'm hoping she'll encourage you guys. So Lisa, tell us a little bit about your journey with your weight.
So I look back over pictures of me, even as a very small child, but I was not a small child. I came in a big baby. I stayed a big little girl. And, I tell people now, this is how my sizes went. When I was 12, I wore 12. When I was 14, I wore 14. When I was 16, I wore 16, 18, and 18. When I was a 20, I wore 18, 20. a 26. I wore size 26.
Wow.
And when I was 30 and 32 years old, I wore a size 30, 32.
Wow.
So the weight just kept escalating. It kept escalating. And I always felt, well, since I was cute, since I always had a boyfriend and my vitals were good, then what's the point of me losing weight? I have everything everybody else have. And then, you know, after a while, you start looking at it and going, you know, Lisa, is this really healthy? Is this really healthy? So I'll do these different fads, and I've lost 120 pounds by doing the low carbohydrate diet.
Yeah.
But then that weight crept back on. It kept back on because it was a fad. It was a fad. But it wasn't until 2009 when I was diagnosed with stage 3 cervical cancer and had not one symptom, none. No symptoms, no irregularities, nothing. And trust me, cervical cancer is the other silent killer, just like high blood pressure, hypertension is for African Americans.
Wow.
Cervical cancer will do the same thing. It will sneak up on you. And before you know it, like I was in stage 3.
Wow.
And so when I did research afterwards, I told the doctor, this doesn't make sense to me in my intelligent brain. My intelligent brain says there's no familial history. So why then do I have it? He said, cancer hides in fat cells. And I said, oh my goodness. So then that just started sparking something in me. Not immediately though. Okay. Just let's be clear, not immediately. Then I told him I was on a high soy diet. So I was starting to eat healthy, but I still ate too much. So you can be eating all the right things, but if your quantity is still a lot, the weight is not going to come off as readily. So I then, immediately after the surgery, he said, you have to get rid of all soy because the type of cancer that they diagnosed in my body, I never take ownership of it. I never say I had that cancer, but the cancer they diagnosed me with, it was an estrogen producing cancer. Soy, from what they say, in the health field, says that soy produces estrogen. So then that took me on a journey. I went in my home. Everything in my cabinet was made with soy in some kind of way.
Wow.
Even if it said 100% vegetable oil, well, soy is a vegetable. So guess what? Soybean oil was in there. And so that started, you know, that journey of just starting to get rid of all the things that were soy. So it had me rethink, then what do I buy? Well, I had to read the labels. So I now read the labels and I buy based on property, protein, iron. And then I look at the labels. If it has soy in it, then I had to stop. That was just part of that journey. It wasn't until my mother made her transition in 2011 that I started the journey then of saying, you know, I want a different story. I want it where my son will not be looking at me in my 60s and 70s and saying, you know, I need to take care of my mom. I need to see after my mother. My mother became very sickly. So all of us, my siblings and I, we would take turns in who would care for mommy. You know, and she was very vibrant up until that point. I wanted to change that history and that story for my family. And I said, no, this won't happen. And I said, he will not do that. I am going to be one of those sexy senior citizens. I am going to be a sexy 60. I'm going to be a sensational 70. I am going to be a hot 80 because I couldn't find anything else to go along with it. Okay. And I'm going to just be in my 90s. And when I saw this woman, Ernestine, I believe her Shepherd is her name, and she's the bodybuilder, 80 or 85 years old now. She has the body of a 17-year-old. And I said, if she can do it, so can I.
Right. I love that.
Thank you.
I love the fact that it was beyond just how I look, because many a times when we think about our weight and our health, we focus on, well, I look a certain way, right? We don't focus on the fact that, you know, in 20 years, my children may have to take care of me.
Exactly.
And I don't want that for them. I am very much like you. I'm a single parent, but I do have one child.
Okay.
And I think about that, you know, as I get older, I don't want her to be burdened with taking care of me. We went
Absolutely.
through that last year with my grandparents, where my mom, who has four other siblings, I believe, was flying back and forth to Kansas City. We live in Arizona, to take care of my grandparents. And I
Yeah.
just thought to myself, I don't want that to be my daughter. I want, like you said, I want to be sexy in my 60s. I want to be
Yeah.
running after my grandkids, and I don't want to put that burden on her. So I love the fact that you brought that out.
Yes.
And then thinking about um, soy, like that's something that, I mean, we don't, and it is in everything.
Everything.
After
Every,
you and I talked, I went and I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, it
yeah.
is in everything.
Yes, soy is in everything. It's mechanically engineered, but in the United States, we're the largest producer of soy, and we
Mm,
still mechanically engineer it.
wow.
They use it as fillers and
Yeah.
everything. So, and I love soy. I love my tofu. Listen, I shake and bake tofu. Okay,
Wow.
I would go to the health food store, get it, and I slice it, and I would get my favorite shake and bake, and I would
Yeah.
shake it like it was chicken, put it in the oven, and take
Really?
it out, eat it with my asparagus. And like I said, I was eating healthy.
Yeah.
So I thought my son, when he was born, he was on isomil. So he was on a soy, milk
Mhm.
or what have you. So yeah, everything I did, I'm thinking, okay, this is it. Still large quantities. But the legacy of changing the trajectory of the health narrative for my
Yes.
family just became my driving force. And then I said, if I do this, it's then going to change it for my siblings. And
Yeah.
I tell you, my sister, she was over 300 pounds as well. My sister now has lost almost 200. So she's lost 180. I've lost 192. My brother now jump ropes every hour jump ropes
Uh-huh.
100 jumps per hour. So he gets in
Wow.
800 over his 8-hour day.
Wow. I'm
That's
gonna
how
have
he
to
does
try
it,
that. I never
or
thought about doing
more.
jump roping during the day.
Jump roping, he goes out and he just stands up and he jump ropes and he does 100 and then he stops. And then at lunchtime, he said, I'll take my lunch. He said, because I figure I earned it. And every hour on the hour, he goes and he jump ropes 100 jump ropes. And he has slimmed down so beautifully.
Wow, that is commitment. I tell you, that
Yeah,
is commitment.
thank you.
So you're at this place where you've gotten this diagnosis,
Yeah,
and you were once again eating healthy, right? To the best of your knowledge,
to the best of my knowledge, and eating a lot of it though.
but eating a lot of right.
Large quantities.
Yes. So you got to this place of saying, I need to do something different.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So in doing something different, I said, what do I really need? I need portion control. I then prayed. So that's where I start in prayer. I prayed. I then turned on the television on a Saturday. I rarely turn my television on like that. And I turned it on a Saturday. And as soon as I turned it was on the local news. And there was this show called Minds of Medicine. And there was this doctor, and he was talking about the weight loss surgery.
Okay.
And I just connected with him. He had been doing it for 25 years. He looked 25, And when he said that, then I said, wow, he's been doing this for 25 years. And so I then reached out. I said, Lord, I want to do this. And the Lord gave me a peace, about this. And I went to that doctor. And then I told him the surgery that I wanted. I said, I want to check this out. I'm so thankful, though, for the way they do this surgery, because they don't allow you to just jump into it. Right. It's not a matter of you going and saying, I want the surgery. And then they go, okay, we'll schedule you. Oh, no. It is months and months of study. It's months of, sleep study. You have to have a psychological report. You also have to show that you are willing to at least try to lose some weight on your own. And I had to go through all of that. Then they'll let you know if you are ready for the surgery. Because surgery, I tell people, sir, you can have surgery all you want, but it is really a mind shift.
Absolutely.
Weight loss is 80% mental, and the rest is the food. I promise you, because I had already fixed my heart on changing the trajectory of our family's health and me being wanting to be the example, I was mentally ready. So the psychological part was simple. And then you go through the sleep study just to make sure you don't have any type of sleep apnea, what have you. That came back, with flying colors. And then, other reports that you have to do. And then I was ready. Now, they couldn't do the surgery that I really wanted. I wanted the bypass, the total bypass, but because of the scarring from other surgeries, my C-section, a hernia removal, and the actual removal of the cancer, that he had to do the sleeve procedure. That was nothing but God.
Yeah.
With the sleeve procedure, everything stays intact. It just takes your stomach down to about the size of your thumb. Okay. Wow. But everything stays intact. When they bypass the stomach, then most people who have that bypass, they have to be on certain supplements for the rest of their life.
Right.
I don't. I don't have to. It's just that it did for me exactly what I wanted it to do. It helped me with portion control. Okay. So I was still able to eat the things that I wanted to eat, but it did take away the craving for sugars. Because you can eat that and then it will just mess with you. It just won't settle with you. And everyone is different. Everyone is different. And I wanted this surgery to work. Yeah. So that means I wasn't going to stretch my pouch beyond what I could. Because as soon as I felt full, and I did exactly what they told me. Yeah. You can't drink water right before you eat or with your meal because your pouch is going to fill up. Yeah. Your stomach is going to fill up. So you want to get the nutrients in as much as possible. So everything they told me to do, I followed it to a T. I did. I followed it. But then I got to a standstill. So I had the surgery. Let's go there. So I had the surgery and great. First month, you lose that 24 pounds and, you figure that's more fluid and what have you. But to see the results, to finally look at your face and go, is that you? Right. Oh my goodness. And you just start getting happy. And then you start seeing more results and more results. And then you start seeing what you can do and what you cannot do. Right. I'm telling you, it is a process. It is a lot of work. I'm not going to tell everyone that this is easy. Right. But it is so doable if you love yourself. It is so doable if you really want to create that legacy. It is so doable if that why is strong enough. And it was doable for me. So I no longer ate off the full plates. Yeah. Even if I went to a gala event, I went to the dessert plates and that's what my food would be on. People would look at me like I was crazy, but I said, I'm getting what I can eat. Right. And I only put on my plate what I really thought I could eat. And what I couldn't is stayed on that plate and I was done. Right. It took away wanting to eat seconds because I'm not trying to stuff it down because I have it on my plate. I'm done. Yeah. Yeah. I'm done. It's done. And so the more weight started coming off and you find yourself getting out of the 360s, then out of the 350s and out of the 340s and then the 330s. And you're going, is it possible that I can get to 200? Are you serious? Wow. Listen. Get to you get to that, then you get into 299s and 290s and you're going, oh my goodness. But let me tell you, I got to the 250s and then I started slowing down. And this is over a period of 4 or 5 years. Okay. And then I got to 250. Then I would go down to 240. Then I said, okay, great. I'm in the 220s and I got to a standstill. And then I said, what's different? What's different? And then I just stayed there. I plateaued between 226 and 253 for about 3 or 4 years. But 3 years ago, I had an intestinal issue that I had been dealing with, and they had to do surgery. Okay. And I looked at the doctor and said, I have given up. I don't eat red meat because I went off of red meat in 2004. Okay. I said, I don't eat fried foods. And I said, and I eat turkey and chicken. I don't eat anything else. What else do I need to do? He said, for your body, you need to give up dairy. I said, what else? What else? She said, you need to give up sugars. I said, what else? because at this point it was on, I
Right.
felt like, if you ladies, if you can see me, I'm taking off my earrings and greasing my thighs, because that fight, it was like, come on, what else? It was the fight against this obesity. I just said, no, I see myself as this person that I told you that I'm seeing. I see the changes in my family. I am already seeing the results of what my example is doing. I can't stop now. I said, Doc, what else? She said, the carbs. She said, be careful of the carbs. She said, I would rather you go to, as a matter of fact, I stopped eating chicken and turkey. She said, I'd rather you go back to eating chicken and turkey than for you to ever eat dairy and then go back on the carbs and the sugars. I said, I can't do it because the chicken and turkey did not digest well in my body. I said, so I will do that. And as soon as I did that, the weight started coming off again. And then I started seeing the getting back out of the 250s again, to 240s, to 230s, 220s. And then I got to the teens and I was like, what is this for real?
Right.
I couldn't believe it. It was then when I got into got to 199, I said, I'm seeing a 1 in front of my weight. And I haven't seen that since I was 14.
Wow.
I hadn't seen a 1 in front of my weight in all that time. And it has just been a wonderful journey. So last year I said, I can't go into the new year, in the 190s. So I started posting on Facebook saying, guys, you think I can get out of the 190s? By December 31st, it was December 30th, and I was at 190. I said, I have another pound to lose. They said, you're already there. Be happy. No. And on December 31st, I was 189. Hallelujah.
That is awesome. That is awesome. One of the reasons why I wanted you to tell this story is because a lot of times we look at weight loss surgery as, I'm going to lose this weight overnight. It's going to be easy. It's going to be quick. It's, it's the easy solution. And you are the truth that it wasn't. You didn't just wake up and you're, 200 pounds lighter. Like you woke up and was like, wait a minute, this is still stalling. I have some work to do. Yes. And I can only imagine being in that 250, that 230, 250 range and trying to figure out like, wait a minute, I done all this work.
Yeah.
And I'm here. Oh, but just to know that it's not, that anytime we want to accomplish a big goal, we have to do the work. Even though we get assistance, we still have to do the work. Yes. So with you, I always like to ask this particular question because we hear these stories and, we're telling them from a perspective of this has happened over a matter of years, right?
Yes.
So when you're telling this story to us, it feels like it was so quick and it went by so fast, because we're seeing the Lisa that we see now.
Right.
Along that journey, who did you ask for help? And so when I think about asking for help, I think about personal help, like your family, friends, maybe, people who are spiritually connected to you, and then also that professional help. So, your doctors, and then the fact that you actually asked your doctor, what do I need to do? Like, I've reached this goal that most people probably would have been satisfied with, right? Happy. I've lost 80 pounds. I've lost 100 pounds. I'm good. But you're not satisfied. So who did you reach out to for help along this journey?
So definitely my doctors. I have my gastroenterologist on speed dial on my cell phone. Listen, one of the things I tell people is you may not wear the white coat, but you make it clear, make it very clear. You are your doctor's partner in your health. So for our primary care physician, I have his cell phone number. My gastroenterologist, I have her cell phone number. I'm Facebook friends with the doctor who did my surgery because he has a Facebook community for the surgery, but he also has a personal one. He accepts us as his friend. Because he does a lot of philanthropic work, which I love about him. So I made sure that I reached out to my doctor. As a matter of fact, I pull food from my cabinet. I took grocery bags into her office. I laid everything out. I said, what of this can I not eat? What of this am I doing wrong? Because I have another block bowel and I need to know what's going on.
Right.
She said, everything you have right here, you can eat, except for this one thing. And it was a simple protein bar that she said, because of the density and the way it's made, if you're not drinking tons of water behind it, she said, this will block you. She said, I only know that because it did me the same way. She said, but because I'm not in the position that you're in where you really shouldn't eat them, she said, I can still eat them. So I think I'll take every one of these that you have right here. I said, no, you didn't. Now she's every bit of 122 pounds. Okay. You know, her high weight, 122, her low weight is 119. Thank you. And I was like, okay, I need to lose all of you. Okay.
Right.
So definitely doctors. And let me tell you, anyone that I saw with the body that I wanted, I reached out to people and said, what do you do? What is your routine like? Now I'm going to go somewhere with this, because no matter how many people you reach out to, you still have to get what works for you.
Yes.
So I'm going to say this, and this is Lisa. I am not one of those, you run up and down the stairs 20 flights and you go, you kill yourself and then boom. That's not me, because then I'll stop.
Right.
I'll stop. And so I finally, after I talked to so many people and I was get with trainers, and I have been with trainers and them really giving me the mechanics behind weight loss and what to do, that Lisa, being on an elliptical for 45 minutes or an hour is not productive after 30 minutes. You technically only need to be on there 20 minutes. So don't go on there 45 minutes. You're not burning any more calories. Oh, what? But the people be on there just rowing for 45 minutes. He said, that's a waste of time. I'd rather you go and lift weights and strength train. So trainers, I then got with people that I trusted, that I saw, and I said, I will walk up to someone and I said, I've been watching you, a young lady at work, as a matter of fact. And I said, I have noticed over the years, you maintain the same weight. You may have gotten smaller, but you pretty much stay within a certain weight. What do you do? Don't be afraid to ask. That's the whole thing. Don't be afraid to ask. And then I said, what do you do? She said, oh, I'll tell you. And she'll say, well, Lisa, my diet is this and blah, blah, blah. And I do work out. So I work out, 35 minutes and I'm done. And I said, so you're not in there an hour or 2 hours? She was like, oh, no. I have a strict routine. It's 30, 35 minutes. I'm out and I'm gone and I'm finished. That sparked so much in me, because then I said, Lisa, what do you love doing? I love walking.
There you go.
I love walking. I love aquatic aerobics.
Okay.
Those things give me so much peace, and I'm working out, but I don't feel like it. I know that I'm adding to my core. I know that I'm adding to my health and doing that. So I said, I am no longer going to fit anyone else's definition of what a good workout is for me. I am going to do what really works for my body and for me, to help me lose and to maintain. What do you like doing? So I made a list of those things I like doing. I love walking. I love brisk walking. I love doing squats. I love aquatic aerobics. So those are the things I love doing. And guess what? I love dancing around. So Zumba or anything like that. But if you're going to put me on the floor and crunch and all of that, see, I'm just going to stand there and look at you and say, I'm not doing that. I'm not coming back, because I'm not doing that. I already told you I'm not getting on the floor. So stop it. Okay. So I found that works for me. And then I keep a routine. So I work out at least 4 to 6 days a week. Okay. And mainly I walk a mile a day. Do I go outside all the time and do that mile? Absolutely not. There are walking videos that you can do at home. So I do those. And then I do a series of squats. I do strength training, because I know I have to lift things. And those are things to do. So reach out to those people that you see that is really pretty much in the sphere of your goal. So I watch people and then I'll go, okay, so what are you doing to keep your abs the way you do? And if they tell me crunch, but then they'll show me the way that they're doing their crunch. Okay, we have a bodybuilder on the job. I ask him to give me a routine. I said, can you give me a routine that'll really work my arms, my shoulders, my, my legs and what have you? So he wrote out a routine. And so it's just asking whoever you feel that is you feel that will give you a benefit. And have I accepted everyone's advice? No, of course not.
Right.
Some people tell you, no, I really don't do anything. Okay. Well, good to know. You just have that metabolism.
Good for you.
Good for you. You have a metabolism like that. Well, okay. And they eat everything. That's not me.
Right.
And I'm so clear on what I do. So so asking is definitely something that I would tell anyone, please do. And then Facebook and Instagram and these different groups and different clubs, you get so many good ideas. Do you have to use them all? No, but they are such inspiration to me. When I see these women fabulous in 40, fine in 50s, I was like, yes. You see women in their 60s and they're standing there in their bodybuilder pose. And I go, yes. So that's where I'm heading. I will be 56 on April 12th. Woo. Okay. And I don't mind telling my age. Okay. I don't. And I know people say you tell your age, you'll tell anything. That's okay. Okay. I know what not to tell. I don't mind telling my age. And I will be 56. Ernestine Shepherd did not get started until she was 55. And now she's a world, bodybuilder at 85 years old and looks amazing.
Wow.
And that's my trajectory. That's where I'm looking to. That's my goal. But again, that whole goal was to not have my son in a position where, he was going to have to do anything for my care. Mm-hmm. That's on me.
Right. There is a question I want to ask you, Lisa. We've talked about the physical aspect of losing weight. So getting the surgery and watching what you were eating and watching your portion control and, adding in an exercise regimen that you will actually do. Yes. And reading ingredients and things like that. And so you mentioned something earlier, the physical aspect of losing weight is only a part of it. But Absolutely. Then there is this mental aspect of losing the weight and keeping it off. And yes. So throughout your journey, did you ever have a point where you felt like either I can't do this or, I'm good where I'm at, or have any of those thoughts that we may have where it's like, this is hard and I'm good?
Absolutely not. And let me tell you why. Before I had the surgery, I knew where I wanted to be. So I'm working backwards. Toward that. I'm working. So I already knew what the finish line was going to be. I'm not there yet. So I had to get out of my head the time it was going to take to get there. Mm-hmm. This is year 10. July 6th would be the 10th anniversary of my surgery. So because I have made such great progress, listen, when you can get on an airplane and no longer be embarrassed about grabbing a seatbelt extension. You don't know how embarrassing that is. You get on the plane and you have to whisper to the stewardess, can I have a seatbelt extension? The first time I had to ask for one is when I was 12 years old. When I was with my Girl Scout troop, we won a trip to Disney World because we sold the most Girl Scout cookies in our area. Mm-hmm. And I won a trip to Disney World. And my mother told me, she said, now this is your first time flying. When you get on the plane, go up to the stewardess and very quietly ask for a seatbelt extension. She said, because the seatbelt might not go around you. And I said, oh, okay. I didn't think anything of it because in my family, my mother made me feel like I was the princess. I mean, I was the queen. My uncles, it was always, ooh, that girl's so pretty. That's a pretty girl. That's a pretty old little chunky girl. Right. It was always pretty. I never heard ugly. And when my mother would say, we're going shopping at our special stores. Well, I didn't know she meant specialty stores, like Ray Bryant and all of the stores that were could fit me. So when you get to the point where you are so happy that you don't have to ask a stewardess for a seatbelt extension. So the first time I wanted to take a chance when I flew, because I fly a lot for my job when going to different trainings and, leadership, events or what have you. Right. I got on the plane when I was 250 something pounds and said, I wonder if I can do this. So I didn't ask.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, well, I'm just going to have to be embarrassed and have her bring it to me. And lo and behold, when they had to do that, oh my gosh, they'll say, who? Oh, yes, in seat 17F, she needed a seatbelt
Oh,
extension.
wow.
Oh my gosh, and it was like, for real, really? This is
Mhm.
already humiliating enough. So then when I sat down and clicked that belt and didn't need an
Wow.
extension and had some room left, I sat in that seat and cried
That's
like a
motivation.
baby. I cried
Wow.
because I took a picture and said, I no longer need a seatbelt extension, y'all. You
Wow.
know, when you could sit down and cross your legs and not have it flip off your leg so fast because you're trying to hold it up with one hand. You know what I'm talking about? That leg be so tight up there, and then you let go of it. You better hope nobody's standing in front of you so they don't get knocked across the room when that leg come flying down. No, and now I sit now like a leg. I just cross my legs all the time because I can. I cross them all the time because I can. So yeah, it's just so I don't know if I've gone off your question because I just got into this point where
that was perfect. That was perfect because I wanted to talk about, those milestones. Like you said, you had certain things that you wanted to do, and things like not having to use a seatbelt extender is not something that I would have ever thought about, right?
Yeah. Oh, people don't even know they exist.
That was a milestone. So I think it's very important that when we are setting realistic goals, right?
Yeah.
So your goal was realistic, but you were also honest enough with yourself to say, this is going to take time, right?
Oh, yes.
Your doctors were honest to say, this is going to take time, but that you had those milestones, and the fact that every time you hit one, you were like, okay, I'm not done yet.
That's right. That's right. Because I'm not
finished. And you kept going. So I love that about you. And that's a takeaway that I want you guys that are listening, is that, your goal may seem far off. Like Lisa said, in July, this will be 10 years.
10 years.
10 years, and she has not given up. And so if you get to that spot where you feel like, you know what, I'm tired.
That's
this is
right.
taking longer than I thought. You know what? If Lisa can push through, guys, you guys can push through.
Absolutely. Please don't stop. Please don't stop, because people are watching you and people see it. I'm telling you, and then another thing, and it's so unfortunate, but I've seen people who had the surgery and they look like they're a candidate for the surgery.
Yes.
Because they won't give it up. The weight loss did not take place mentally for them, and their why was not strong enough. It was, the surgery is going to be my panacea, my magic pill, and then I'm done. I am done, and that's it. And it's not. The work is just beginning. So the other part of the work, the physical part, because the mental part had to take place first.
Yes.
And it did for me. And right now, because I'm so close to my goal, listen, I am almost 200 pounds weight loss. I am just a few pounds away from 200 pounds.
Wow.
To say now that I am 22 pounds away from my initial hard goal, and only now 44 pounds away from that final goal, is amazing. To go from being almost over 200 pounds away. Seriously?
Wow.
I am this close. So I see the finish line. So it's like, are you serious?
Right.
Yeah, I already see it. I see it, and it looks so good. So I'm excited. The only thing I tell people is, make sure and speaking of the ask, another thing you have to ask about is the sagging skin. So people tell you so much about how, it'll draw up, what have you. No, I was heavy all of my life. My sister, on the other hand, wasn't. So when my sister gained weight and then lost all of hers, her elasticity was still there.
Okay.
So now she, doesn't have the sagging as I do in, all over my body. So I'm one of those people that you see in some of these shows. If I look so well in my clothes, but if I can pull up my stomach and pull it out because it's so much. So I've asked, one of the leading plastic surgeon in the area, I asked my doctor, I said, who would you trust to do a body lift for me? Yeah. She said, I have a person in mind. And then I said, I hope it's the person that I already have scoped out. And she said the name, and I wrote the name down. And so I said, yes, it's the same person. Because I've seen her work on so many different people. I've had friends who've had tummy tucks. I've had friends who've had breast lift. I've had them have them redistribute their fat to other parts of their body and their backside. And so again, that's asking, because here's the thing. Once you start having these conversations and people see your weight loss, people start offering. People start saying, Lisa, I have a great plastic surgeon, or Lisa, I went to the Dominican Republic or went there. Now, where people go out of the country to do all of that, that's fine. That's up to them. I've had friends who've done all of that. But I knew of this person that they were talking about as this plastic surgeon, and I seen her work on so many people. And so when I went to my doctor that I trust and asked who would she recommend, and it was the same person, I have that appointment, just so you'll know, on April 8th.
That's exciting.
I do. So I'm looking forward to that and what that is going to yield as well, to see this whole new body.
Awesome.
I am.
Awesome. Well, Lisa, once again, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your journey with us.
Thank you.
Like I said, my goal really is for another woman to hear your journey who may be where you were 10 years ago and trying to decide, what do I do now? Right. Yeah. That woman who may have been on the heavier side most of their life, and they may have health issues and trying to figure out, what do I do next? And let me be clear, y'all, this is not to be used as medical advice.
Not at all.
But this is just Lisa sharing her story of success, and not necessarily encouraging you to get weight loss surgery or anything like that, but encouraging you to not stop and to not give up on your goal and on your dream. Like Lisa said, she's in her 50s and she's still working towards her goal. She didn't say, okay, I hit 50, so I'm good. She's still working. And so really that's my goal of sharing her story today, was to encourage you guys to just not give up. So Lisa, if you were talking to someone who was in your shoes 10 years ago, what would you tell them?
Know why you're doing this. Don't do it for anyone else. Don't ever lose weight or have a surgery to change anything about you unless you are doing this for you. I did this strictly for me so that I can be an example also to my family. So it was for me, so that my son would not have to bear that of taking care of me in my older age. And then to be an example, once I started looking around at my family and started saying, we all could do this. We all need to do something, but I'm not going to tell anyone else what to do. I'm going to allow my life to speak to them.
That's good.
And I want anyone who's listening to this to know why you want to do it. Your why has to be strong enough. Yes. My why was my child enjoying my life, me enjoying my grandchildren, my child enjoying me, by his side, and not him having to, pick me up and carry me around. Now, come on. We know that not all heavy set people go through that or what have you. We know smaller people do too. But because there was history, I wanted to change that for my family. So I'm going to tell anyone, know your why and never do it for anyone else. Never do it for anyone else. And be so unapologetic about reaching your goal that nothing can stop it. Nothing. Everywhere that I go, I take something with me. I always have bottled water and I take a protein bar, because if I'm ever anywhere where they have food that I can't eat, I will either fast or I will take out my bottled water or get the water from there, wherever they are, and then get my protein bar and be satisfied. I pack everywhere I go. And that's not talking about a gun, okay? I am talking about making sure that I have my meals. I eat off of 6-inch plates. I eat out of 1 to 3 ounce cups. Everywhere, everything that I have can fit in my hand. I don't overstuff. When I get full, I stop. So there's a discipline that comes in this. And I know that my discipline really over the years have been a gradual one. So I didn't do all of this at once. Okay. I stopped eating red meat years ago. Then I went off of turkey and chicken a while back. People say, how do you get your protein? Well, how do pigs and cows get theirs? They don't eat meat, they eat grass all day long. Think about it. There's the protein. Okay.
Right.
So I get it from plant-based. I eat a plant-based diet. And I do have protein powder that I put in my water and I get it in. I do eat fish. Okay. So yeah, I do eat fish. So so I tell people if it grows from the ground, if it grows on the trees and swim, I'll eat it. Okay. As long as it doesn't have dairy, high sugar, or carbs, high carbs. I don't. Single digit carbs, single digit sugar.
Okay, I love it. Well, Lisa, let us know where we can connect with you, what platforms are you on, or if someone is just interested in getting to know you better, following your journey, because your journey is not over. And
no, it's not.
If someone is interested in connecting with you, where can they do that?
They can do. I'm on Facebook, Lisa Yvette, Yvette Jones. So I'm on Facebook and Instagram, the same thing, Lisa Yvette Jones. I'm also on Twitter, Lisa Yvette Jones. And then my email address is Lisa Yvette Jones, YVETTE @gmail.com.
Perfect. Well, Lisa, thank you so much again for being here. It has been such a pleasure to hear this story. I wish we had more time because I know there's so many other nuggets that you have, but I just appreciate you being here. And I really pray that someone listening to this is just going to be motivated to get back on the horse, to take the next step, to continue to chase their dreams. So Lisa, thank you again.
Thank you so much. And I'm telling you, I am so blessed that you asked me. So I'm honored. I'm honored and I'm blessed. So I'm going to sign out as I always do. This is Lisa Yvette Jones, your Chief Encouragement, Inspirational, and Empowerment Coach, Counselor, and Consultant, and that caring leader and best-selling author, coming to just encourage and inspire you to be the best you.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you so much. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. Now, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I pray that it encourages you and you were able to laugh a little bit along the way. Now, if you know someone who has a story of resilience, restoration, and winning at life, let me know. I would love to share their story with my audience. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you guys don't miss a beat. If you want to connect with me, hop over to aprilnowlin.com where you can learn all about how I help women to cultivate their purpose so they can impact more people. You can connect with me on Facebook and Instagram and Clubhouse under April Nowlin. Thanks again for listening.